This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
There were some things in the contract that were, it was almost an impossible contract to sign.
A southern Indiana community could lose the majority of its firefighters. Only on RTV6, we're looking at how it could impact your safety.
Thousands of Hoosiers are not getting the benefits they're entitled to. We're working for you with how students are working to change that.
So the idea kind of sparked when one of my friends had taken off her card holder and put on a phone grip and then lost her cards. There was nothing out there like the socket locket.
An experience leads to a central Indiana woman creating a new cell phone accessory. This morning, we're checking in to see how it also created Hoosier jobs.
And your wedding day is all ready to go until the cake shop closes. This morning, how to protect yourself with wedding vendors so you don't waste your money.
It is the last Friday of 2019. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on December the 27th. I'm Rafael Sanchez.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Thanks so much for joining us. I think we need a cake to celebrate not only that it is the end of a very short week, but that we have had fabulous weather all week long. We have lucked out so very much, and we are going to carry those warmer temps into the weekend, Todd.
Yeah, you know, that's the good news. Today, a little bit of step back temperature-wise with highs only in the 50s, but that's still above normal. And tomorrow, we're back up to 60 degrees, as Meredith alluded to. So, yeah, it's been a very mild Christmas week for us across the areas. So, once again, today, you probably just need the lighter jacket compared to that heavy winter coat with temperatures that are in the 50s and 40s. I'll show you the currents only to point out that the colder air is working its way into the equation now this morning. Temperature dropped to 50 degrees, down 4 degrees from last hour, and we're in the 40s to the north. So this colder air will continue to push across all of central Indiana this morning. So almost all of us eventually get down into the 40s for your morning temperatures, and then we'll start to see those temperatures moderate just a little bit later on this afternoon. There could be a sprinkle or two out there as this front makes its way through the area, but nothing of significance for you whatsoever this morning. If you have to get on the roadways, any substantial shower activity is well off to our east. So if you're traveling home or traveling back into central Indiana or across central Indiana, you should be just fine today. Temperatures down to about 47 degrees by the noon hour. Then we hold steady right around that number for the rest of the day. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast and those 60s coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. New overnight, a man has been injured after a shooting on Indy's northwest side. Officers on the scene tell RTV6 a man was shot around 1:30 this morning in a parking lot on Sandy Side Drive. That's near 62nd and Georgetown Road. Officers found the victim and rushed him to the hospital. This morning, police have not released any information about a suspect.
The time now is 6:04, and a southern Indiana community could lose the majority of its firefighters. This morning, a lieutenant with the Owen Valley Fire Department in Spencer tells RTV6 that the department's incorporated group could not reach a contract agreement with the Fire Territory Board. He says the group never had a chance to negotiate the terms in that contract that was offered. The change could mean a loss of about 20 volunteer firefighters. We asked people in the community if they're worried about their safety.
Properties are so far apart. We need qualified staff with the ability to get there in time. So it's important that we have a qualified fire department, I believe.
I think it's a little bit concerning. It's a small town, so that's going to have a big impact on our community. And we do have several fires around here each year, unfortunately. So I think it's pretty important that we keep those volunteers.
So here's the other side of the story. An attorney for the board overseeing the department tells RTV6 the contract they offered to the volunteer organization, they say, was fair. He says the changes are meant to eventually transition the department to a paid staff.
A man accused in a string of arsons in Indianapolis is scheduled to appear in court this morning. A bond hearing for De'Air Gray is set for 9:30 a.m. He faces more than a dozen charges related to several fires in the Mars Hill area, including one caught on surveillance cameras. Investigators say Gray is connected to 7 arsons, but may be responsible for as many as 20. There were no injuries in the fires. Investigators estimate the damage from the fires at nearly $100,000. And a suspect accused of stabbing a man to death during an argument over cigarettes is waking up in jail. Police believe 23-year-old Brent Pitcock killed Paul Scarborough just before 12:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve near a gas station on East Washington Street. This morning, Pitcock faces murder charges. Here at 6:05 and new on Good Morning Indiana, a new program created by a group of Butler students is allowing Hoosiers to see what SNAP benefits they qualify for before they even apply.
Our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning to show us how this new software works. And Kelsey, this could really change and help a lot of families.
Yeah, that's right, Raphael. So SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And the software they created is pretty simple to use. You just go to their website and enter some basic information about your household, things like demographics, income, and deductions. Now, the students worked on this project in conjunction with the Indian Hunger Network and Indiana Legal Services. They tell me they were shocked to learn that only 25% of people who are eligible for benefits are actually using them. And they're hoping their newly developed software can help.
The outcome for this is just for more people to actually get the benefit of SNAP and actually apply for it and not be afraid to ask for assistance or help and get the benefits that they need, because right now with this winter, of course, it's hard to get access to food, or even throughout the year, they don't get the meals that they need to actually be healthy or do what they have to do day by day.
To qualify for the SNAP benefits, you must meet certain non-financial and financial requirements. Those include state residency, being a U.S. citizen, having a job, or working with an organization to get a job, along with income and assets. Now, to learn more about the benefits calculator and the EPICS class at Butler University, visit this story on the RTV6 News app. Raphael?
Kelsey, thank you so much. The time now is 6:07, and college football games will get into full swing today. Those bowl games should be exciting. You see the first 3 bowl games scheduled for today on your screen. The Military Bowl between North Carolina and Temple will kick things off at noon. However, the Indiana Hoosiers will wait until after New Year's Day before they kick off against Tennessee in the Gator Bowl. But a few more days of practice will be fine for the Hoosiers. The last time they played in a bowl game was more than 30 years ago. This will be mostly a new experience for much of the IU roster. Starting quarterback Peyton Ramsey was on the roster for the Foster Farms Bowl 2 years ago, but this time, they say, is a much bigger deal.
To get back after not being in a bowl game for a couple years means a lot. To be a part of it and be playing good football, winning games, that's what it's all about, just having fun. And it's been such a fun ride, such a fun journey this year, and the plan is to keep it rolling and go get a win in Florida.
The Hoosiers, they head south on Saturday. They'll practice in Jacksonville on Monday and Tuesday. Best of luck to them. We have a pair of bowl games still to come on RTV6. Saturday, you'll see Notre Dame in the Camping World Bowl. The Fighting Irish taking on Iowa State. That game is at noon. And then on New Year's Day, Michigan and Alabama playing in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. That's next Wednesday at 1 p.m.
Hurricane Dorian, historic wildfires, and deadly flooding all come to mind when you think about 2019. New at 6:17, we're looking back at the year's biggest stories in weather. Todd.
And the snow is all gone here across central Indiana, but the salt from the roadways may be lingering on your car. So let's take a look at the car wash forecast for you. We'll give you the green light for today with partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll give you the caution light tomorrow as some spotty showers arrive late in the day, and then rain on Sunday, so you may want to hold off if you're getting your car washed over the weekend. We'll talk about that rain, which could be quite substantial heading our way. Coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Just call Summers.
Each day for the past year, Hiring Hoosiers has worked to connect you to job opportunities, resources, training, as well as education.
This morning, our Lauren Casey is checking in with a unique local business and its young college student owner who's getting Hoosiers hired.
So the Socket Locket is an adhesive card holder where you can hold up to 1, 2, or 3 cards securely in place.
Cicero native Katie Gelhausen is a 20-year-old college student, and like any college student, carries around her phone and school ID wherever she goes.
You can pair it with your own phone grip and combine the two.
So a device like this Socket Locket is really handy, and she found it's something her friends need. The catch? It didn't exist at first.
So the idea kind of sparked when one of my friends had taken off her card holder holder and put on a phone grip and then lost her cards. There was nothing out there like the socket locket.
Katie is an entrepreneurship student at High Point University in North Carolina. She came up with the idea for the socket locket and at 19 years old, took action.
So it all started with basically just a sketch.
She did research, made sketches, earned a prototyping scholarship, and is now patent pending. When looking for places to manufacture her product, she looked back home to Indiana, a place where she could be involved in the production process.
It just seemed like fate that it was only 20 miles up the road.
And that's where Mike Lieger with Progressive Plastics comes in.
Katie's been a powerhouse. She's very creative.
Mike and Progressive Plastics decided to take on the Socket Locket project. The Elwood manufacturer is a full-service custom injection molding company specializing in medical, military, and aerospace products. And inventors are especially important to this local businessman.
She has created something out of nothing, and that something demands attention. And that affects every facet of the manufacturing process. There's prototype tooling. We've got assembly workers. We've got production operators, tooling people that all are touched by a new product.
The success and demand for Katie's product not only impacts her business, but Mike's as well, allowing him to hire more Hoosiers.
This is going to end up requiring us to increase our staff probably 10 to 15%.
Not only providing jobs to his community in Elwood, but also helping his employees feel fulfilled in their work.
We want to make sure they understand that their reach goes much further than Elwood, that there are people all around this country that are picking up the products that you've produced. And I think that means a lot in terms of somebody being able to get out of bed in the morning.
If you would like to learn more about the Socket Locket as well as job opportunities with Progressive Plastics, we posted more information for you under this story at hiringhoosiers.com. Here at 6:15 on your Friday morning, I'm curious as to what you are standing in front of right now, Todd.
Well, this would be the RTV6 Weather Now camera, but it's locked in with some clouds on top of the Salesforce Tower. So there's not much of a view, but I point this out for you for a reason. That's because a front's working its way through, and that's why we're dealing with a little more in the way of cloud cover. And this front is also starting to drop the temperatures. One of the reasons why I know the front's coming through, I've been keeping an eye on these wind speeds and directions. It was out of the southwest earlier this morning. The wind direction now out of the northwest. So that means the front is through downtown Indianapolis, or at least at the airport, and the temperature is down to 50 degrees. We are in the mid-50s when I came in earlier this morning, and you can see that colder air making its way from west to east across the state. 41 right now in Lafayette, as well as Crawfordsville, still holding on to 57. In Bloomington, everybody will drop down into the 40s as the morning progresses. So throughout the course of the day, our temperatures have already hit their highest levels that they will be. For those of you in southern locations, that is what is occurring right now. But look at the temperature trend. By the noon hour, down to 46 degrees in Indianapolis. And then by the time we get to the afternoon, we'll start to rebound just a little bit back up to about 47, 48 degrees for your afternoon highs. And then this evening, if you have plans, temperatures drop back down into the 40s. So you'll definitely need to have the jacket handy. Yesterday, you kind of needed the jacket, or at least a light one, throughout the evening hours. Today, it's definitely going to be required. So as this front's coming through, it's not showing much in the way of any precipitation on Storm Team 6 radar, but that tower camera, when it was locked in with the clouds, indicates that there is some moisture out there. So don't be shocked if you see a sprinkle or two as this front goes through. But otherwise, as you look to the west, there's really not a whole lot going on. Let's fast forward to tomorrow for you. Tomorrow is a decent day. It's not the brightest day for us, but temperatures get back up to right around 60 degrees for your afternoon highs. The daytime hours will be dry, but once we get to the evening hours, that's when we're going to bring in some rain. And a lot of rainfall is heading our way overnight Saturday into Sunday. So look for a spot shower or two after sunset on Saturday, but the bulk of the heavier rain and even a few thunderstorms comes through during the overnight hours. It's a good soaking rain for us throughout Sunday morning, and then by the time we get to Sunday afternoon, the rain is starting to move out. So if you're heading off to church on Sunday morning, it's going to probably be fairly wet. And look at some of these rainfall totals. We're talking about maybe 1 to 2 inches in southern locations, probably over an inch here in the metro area, a little less as you work your way to the north. But keep in mind, mind, the ground is completely saturated here across the area with 7-8 inches of snow that has melted. And so as a result, we are going to see potential for maybe a little bit of localized flooding heading into Sunday morning. Monday, Tuesday, and then New Year's Day, pretty quiet with partly cloudy skies, but colder temperatures in the 30s.
Todd, thank you so much. At 6:18, our live drive vehicle is on the road. Eldon Wheeler there behind the wheel. He is on MLK heading into the downtown area. Of course, it's going to be a great day this morning. No major problems to report on the interstate system. We want to remind you again that there will be increased patrols by state troopers, county sheriffs, as well as local police as we head into the New Year's Eve holiday season. They're always looking for impaired drivers, so be mindful of that. If you're going to go out drinking this weekend or for the next couple of days, call Uber, Lyft, get a designated driver, be safe into the new year.
Here at 6:18, Hurricane Dorian was arguably the most notable weather disaster of the year.
But that's not the only record-breaking weather event we saw in 2019.
Yeah, from tornadoes to floods, Daryl Forges has looked back at some of this year's top weather stories.
Howling winds, catastrophic flooding, and indescribable destruction. In September, one of the year's worst weather events battered the Bahamas. Hurricane Dorian first made landfall on the Abaco Islands as a 185-mile-per-hour Category 5. Then, just hours later, Dorian made its second landfall on Grand Bahama and stalled. Fierce winds lashed the island for nearly 24 hours.
Where I was staying, the roof caved in, the wall caved in.
Homes and businesses were wiped off their foundations or splintered like toothpicks. The storm surge and relentless rain led to devastating and deadly flooding.
It came over the roof. I would imagine 21 feet at least.
Howard Armstrong survived the storm, but his wife did not.
And she just drowned on me.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
More than 600 people were killed, and hundreds of others are still missing. Just days later,
Hurricane Dorian has its sights set on North Carolina.
And on September 6th, the storm made landfall over Cape Hatteras at a 90-mile-per-hour Category 1. But its effects were felt all across the Carolinas.
What?
High winds, downed power lines in Charleston, South Carolina, kicked up violent surf along the coast, and spawned a couple of tornadoes, including this one near Wilmington, North Carolina.
It was so fast. I remember hearing a loud noise. The next thing I know, the trailer started shaking.
According to Google Trends, Hurricane Dorian is the most searched news story of 2019. Also in September,
the most wild thing I have ever seen.
Tropical Storm Imelda dumped heavy flooding rains across parts of South Texas.
Just about every road in Winnie is flooded right now.
The storm formed near the Texas coast and made landfall an hour and a half later. As it slowly moved inland, Imelda inundated towns, prompting water rescues and road closures, and caused rivers to rise and overflow their banks. Several barges on the San Jacinto River broke free, with one slamming into a bridge along Interstate 10 and two becoming lodged underneath. According to the National Weather Service, Harris County received more than 15 inches of rain, while some areas in nearby Jefferson County picked up more than 3.5 feet. In the spring, severe storms produced numerous damaging tornadoes. Between late April and late May, there were 500 reports of tornadoes across 22 states, including Ohio, Oklahoma, and Missouri, and Kansas.
It sounded like a freight train going over.
Tens of thousands of people were left in the dark, and dozens of homes were damaged or destroyed.
Felt like some hail or something, and my husband looked up and he said, well, we don't have a roof anymore.
May of 2019 set a record with tornadoes reported for 14 consecutive days. And in Northern California,
they're very erratic. They haven't calmed down much.
Hurricane force wind gusts helped fuel the Kincaid fire in Sonoma County. Flames erupted in late October and quickly spread, making the blaze hard to contain.
We just can't keep ahead of it.
The massive fire raged for nearly 2 weeks near Geyserville, prompting thousands of people to leave their homes. The Kincaid fire charred nearly 78,000 acres and destroyed more than 300 structures.
They'll rebuild, and it's just heartbreaking for them, to lose everything. I couldn't imagine.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
The Here at Trending at 6, Christmas has come and gone, and some Star Wars fans are still awaiting for gifts that won't arrive until March. On Monday, Disney announced a plush toy of Baby Yoda was available for pre-order. Oh, that's scary. The toys sold out within hours. However, Disney says they were ready for the high demand and brought in another supply. The good news this morning, the hot toy is once again available for pre-orders.
In Las Vegas, an unlikely source is doing its part to help the large homeless population. You see, a local gentleman's club says they spent about $50,000 to provide these tents, you saw the green ones, for homeless people in various cities. And while their act of kindness has drawn praise, it has also drawn criticism. You see, parents are concerned that the club's logo is on the tents.
Oh, children can find a lot worse things on the internet than the logo of a gentleman's club, so I think people should not be worried.
No comment.
Santa wasn't the cause of a ruckus in a North Carolina couple's home. Elisa and Thomas Milam were in their bedroom when they heard loud noises downstairs. Hey. The couple was afraid an intruder had broken in, so they hid in their closet and called 911. When deputies arrived, they found the culprit hard at work. It was just the couple's new robotic vacuum cleaning the floors.
You got one for your dad, right?
I did, and it is his new pride and joy.
I have one of those too. I love it.
He was following it around last night like it was a new puppy. It was pretty funny.
Mr. Barrick, do not call 911. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. All right, Todd, how is the weather looking for our weekend?
You know, it's not a bad forecast going forward. Again, there's not a lot of sunshine in this forecast, but at least the temperatures remain fairly mild going forward. We're in the process of actually cooling it off. So as I just gave you a little speech about the mild temperatures, it's a little bit of a step back today. Instead of the 60s, we'll be in the 40s throughout the morning hours and then hold pretty steady throughout the afternoon. The exception, those of you down to the south, you'll be a little bit warmer into the mid-50s. Even though it's colder than the 60s we've seen the past 2 days, keep in mind our normal high is still 36 degrees. So we're well above that. But the 60s, they do return to the forecast starting tomorrow. We'll talk about that and a pretty big storm that heads our way over the weekend as well, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much.
The new year brings the start of wedding planning season for all the couples who will be tying the knot in 2020.
But before you give down one of those big payments to a vendor, John Matteries is working for you with a warning so you don't waste your money.
Millions of couples are planning weddings in 2020, and in the coming weeks, we'll be calling photographers, limo services, bakeries, and others. But one mom has a lesson for brides-to-be about checking out that cake baker very carefully. Angela West thought she had everything planned for her daughter's wedding.
The bride and the groom.
She had ordered a unique square-tiered cake from a top-rated cake shop, but she just learned the shop is closed.
You know, they should have gave us a letter stating that we're going out of business. Can we come and get our refund?
She says the shop still has her $75 cake deposit. No refund.
No refund.
No refund at all. Unfortunately, this happens so often when a small business goes under and people have made a down payment on a product or a service. So if you're planning a wedding this spring, make sure you have confidence in that wedding vendor. The two women who own the building are now liquidating the contents. They say they feel terrible for customers, but there's nothing they can do.
I feel really bad about it. I really do.
So don't let this happen to you. Check a wedding vendor's Better Business Bureau report. Then check their Yelp reviews. And make your down payment with a credit card for your safety, not cash, check, or Venmo. And Angela's not sure if her daughter can order a specialty cake now on such short notice.
I know how much important this is to her.
Remember, paying a wedding vendor with a MasterCard or Visa is always safest because the vendor closes or disappears. You can reverse the charge, and you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thanks. And now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A man is in critical condition after a shooting on Indy's northwest side. Police on the scene tell us a man was shot in a parking lot on Sandy Side Drive off of Georgetown Road around 1:30 this morning. The victim is in the hospital. Police have not released any information on a suspect.
On this Friday, please take a look at your TV screen. The FBI Violent Crimes Task Force is asking for your help in identifying this man and woman who they say robbed a bank in Lawrence. Police say the two held up the Huntington Bank near Pendleton Pike and Oak Landing Road on Tuesday morning. After they got away, investigators say a dive pack activated, likely covering stolen cash, clothing, and possibly the woman with red dye.
Blackacre Brewing Company reopened its beer garden yesterday as it continues to rebuild after a weekend fire. The area is usually closed during the winter, but the brewery is using it while the location on East Washington Street is closed. Right now, there's no timeline when that location will reopen.
Well, today, the National Park Service will begin installing sand traps along the Lake Michigan shoreline to combat beach erosion at the Indiana Dunes National Park. Officials say without them, the parking lot, the road, and public utilities buried near the dunes could be damaged or destroyed by future storm waves. An emergency order and travel restrictions were put in place last week. Drivers
in Hamilton County are getting a gift worth $4.5 million this holiday season. The Logan Street Bridge over the White River in Noblesville is back open. It had been closed since October of last year for a multi-million-dollar rehab project. The bridge is wider with a new road and sidewalks, so you can now walk from downtown Noblesville across the White River to the Riverwalk and Federal Hill Park, where ice skating is currently taking place. But
wow,
could it be that it is December 27th and it is too warm to be ice skating right now, Todd?
You know, it might be good. They got those. I'm not sure how they do it, but they keep the ice frozen in some sort of refrigeration. So, yeah, it's like skiing in the spring, right? You have the snow on the ground out west, and you're going to be skiing in short sleeves. But, yeah, it's been a mild stretch of weather here for us over the course of the past few days. And who would have thought at the end of December, after the start of December was so cold and we had all that snow just about 2 weeks ago. So what do you need to grab before you go? Well, you don't really need the sunglasses today, as we're not going to see a lot in the way of sunshine. You don't need the umbrella. You don't need the hat and gloves, but you do need to have the lighter jacket. A lot of people walking around without a jacket yesterday, but temperatures are going to be a little bit colder today, and you can see that colder air working its way in currently, kind of splitting the state in half diagonally. 57 in Bloomington, but only 41 in Lafayette, 50 in Indianapolis at the top of the hour. When the new numbers come in, Indianapolis will be down into the 40s as well, as the cold front is currently working its way through. Could be a sprinkle or two this morning, but nothing more than that. Overall, it's a pretty quiet weather pattern, just not a bright day for us in our future. There'll be some peaks of sunshine, I think, this afternoon, but at least for this morning, temperatures, as I mentioned, will continue to go down another couple degrees, but then hold pretty steady right around 47 degrees, not only through the noon hour, but throughout the remainder of this Friday. Tomorrow, though, we're back up to near 60. More on that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. At 6:32, good morning to Kokomo, LaPel, and Southport. Our INDOT camera now focused on the city's west side, I-70, west of High School Road. As you can see, the morning commute is building there. All is okay. Those of you heading out to the airport this morning, keep this in mind. There's some severe weather out west, as in the West Coast. So before you head out to the airport, check with your airlines to make sure that you will be flying out of Indianapolis this morning with no delays. And of course, also keep this in mind. A big reminder, more Indiana State Troopers will be on the road this coming several days because of the holiday weekend. They'll be looking for aggressive and impaired drivers. This is all part of Operation CARE, and CARE stands for Combined Accident Reduction Effort. The program is federally funded, so of course be mindful that there'll be extra police officers out there for the holiday week.
New this morning, crews continue their investigation of a home explosion in rural Fountain County. The call came in around 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon for a home in Portland Arch, about 5 miles southwest of Attica. We're told the owners were in the home when it happened. They were able to get out unhurt, but 2 cats and 8 dogs that were inside are thought to be dead. Right now, it's still unclear what caused that explosion.
A reminder that winter is a season that sees the highest number of house fires and fire-related deaths. And that's why FEMA, the U.S. Fire Administration, and local fire departments are teaming up for the Put a Freeze on Winter Fires campaign. The goal is to keep you safe during the holiday season. Some of their tips include being aware of where you put portable heating sources and keeping flammable items away from them, using appropriate heating sources as well, and making sure you have a working smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detector in your home. Several local fire departments make them available for free if you can't afford one. The time now is 6:34, and so the question this morning, are you struggling to put food on the table every day? If so, you may be eligible for the Supplemental Nutrition
Assistance Program.
Students at Butler University are working in partnership with the Indy Hunger Network on an application that will help you check your eligibility before you even apply. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with the details. And Kelsey, this is going to help so many Hoosiers.
A lot of people.
Yeah, you guys are both right. So while working with the Indy Hunger Network, the students found that the people who are eligible for SNAP benefits, only 25% are actually applying. And they hope that their easy-to-use application will bring that number up.
Or not everybody that is eligible is signed up for SNAP benefits.
Cabrilla Waters is working with his classmates on this website. It helps people calculate their SNAP benefits eligibility. Their goal is to help people realize what benefits they can get.
I think my hope is the same as everyone in this group and the motivation behind the project in the first place. And that's just to basically bridge the gap between people who may not want to apply or don't think they're eligible and like the actual process to make it more approachable.
Through this project, the Butler students have learned only 25% of those who are eligible for SNAP benefits are using them.
And we want to get that to 100% if we can.
The calculator is fairly simple to use. You enter some basic information about your household, and it gives you your estimated SNAP benefit allowance. Under that, there's the link to the online SNAP application.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that could potentially be helped by this, and I want to help as many people as I can doing what I do.
Adding Spanish to the website so more people will be able to use it. For more information on this application plus the EPICS class, you can visit the RTV6 News app. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you so much. There were wins, there were losses, retirements, even cheating scandals. Next on Good Morning Indiana, a look back at what went down in the world of sports over the past year.
And here's one way to ring in the new year. We have a pair of tickets to see one of the most popular bands in Central Indiana, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. They're playing the Brown County Music Center on New Year's Eve, and we have your chance to win tickets coming up in less than 15 minutes, so don't change the channel. It's 6:36. We'll be right back.
Your new favorite furniture store.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Love Jim McKay. There's a blast from the past, and almost that's in the past, and this year is almost in the past. In about 4 days, we'll say bye-bye to 2019. And in sports, this past year, it was when this young woman, listen, what can you say? Simone Biles, the best, established herself as one of the greatest athletes of all time.
I guess you'd say the GOAT then. It was also a year in which we saw old champions and new devastating injuries and great comebacks. As ABC's Trevor Ault tells us, for every great story, there was a controversy not far behind.
Tiger Woods returned to his brilliance on the golf course at the Masters, ending an 11-year drought and completing his comeback from injury and adversity.
I could still win out here against the best players.
Football also saw familiar faces at the top of the sport. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady led the New England Patriots to a 13-3 win over the Rams in Super Bowl 53 to earn their 6th title. Baseball gave us a new champion. The Washington Nationals repeatedly fought off elimination in their amazing postseason run, beating the Houston Astros with another comeback in Game 7 to celebrate their first World Series title. The Astros losing the series, then coming under investigation for allegations of cheating in 2017. Controversy in the NFL as well. The New Orleans Saints watched their season end on a questionable call. Antonio Brown went to the Raiders, then to the Patriots, but played a total of 1 game in 2019 before being released amid accusations of sexual assault, allegations he denies. Tragedy struck the Los Angeles Angels when 27-year-old pitcher Tyler Skaggs died suddenly of a drug overdose. The team honored him in their first home game with the pitching staff threw a combined no-hitter. Beloved Boston Red Sox hero David Ortiz made a triumphant return to Fenway Park after being shot in the Dominican Republic and enduring 3 surgeries. The NBA also crowned a new champion. The Toronto Raptors rode Kawhi Leonard's clutch performance to win their first NBA title, with all of Canada rallying behind them. The Golden State Warriors' hopes were derailed by season-ending injuries. Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey stirred up trouble for the NBA in China by tweeting support for pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong.
Even though, yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that too.
California led a seismic shift in college sports, passing the Fair Pay to Play Act and forcing the NCAA's hand to allow student athletes to be paid for the use of their name, image, and likeness once its 3 division finalized the rules by 2021. Zion Williamson dominated for Duke and became the #1 overall pick, but the NBA was forced to be patient as injury delayed his debut for the New Orleans Pelicans. But in many ways, 2019 belonged to dominant women with powerhouse performances. The U.S. women's national team won their 2nd consecutive World Cup, with Megan Rapinoe taking center stage in France. The team also battling off the field in the continued fight for gender equality. Simone Biles made history, becoming the first female gymnast to land a triple-double during her floor routine for Team USA. 15-year-old Coco Gauff went on a magical run at Wimbledon, becoming the youngest player ever to advance to the round of 16. 2019 gave us a lot to remember. The St. Louis Blues going from worst to first. More champions, highs and lows, and the unexpected, as we said goodbye to some of our favorites who stepped away from the game. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
Next on Good Morning Indiana, it has changed dramatically, but it's still a major part of the economy in our state. Up next, the place in Indianapolis that automakers hope catches your attention. Of course, he's had our attention all week long. Todd Clausen with an amazing forecast yet again. Pay raise time.
Yeah, it's a decent start to our day once again. As you start your day off on this Friday morning, we're talking about temperatures that are currently falling, but they're still well above normal. We'll be in the 30s and 40s here this morning, but the good news is the 60s return for this weekend. We'll talk about that, and quite a bit of rain that's heading our way as well, coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes. The time now, though, 6:44. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
For more info, go to ChristmasNightsOfLights.com.
A backbone of our state's economy is auto manufacturing. More than 100,000 Hoosiers are connected with vehicle production, whether they work at General Motors, Honda, Subaru, Chrysler, or Toyota. This morning, let me take you to the Indianapolis Auto Show, which is hoping to spark future vehicle sales. The fast and the furious, the sleek and the shiny, all on display.
We have pickup trucks, we have sports cars, we've got convertibles, we've got, like I say, minivans, a little something for everyone.
Ready to be checked out from bumper to bumper before you decide whether it makes your shopping list.
We have an opportunity for people to come in comparison, shop without someone trying to sell you something. And for a lot of people, that's a welcome relief.
While Indiana weather usually requires a vehicle that can handle snow and ice-covered roads, the last few warm days may spark an interest in searching for something more sporty, which could distract you from taking down all of those outdoor Christmas lights and ornaments.
They can come down here for 2 hours while it's nice and still get those Christmas lights down before 5:30 or 6.
And while these vehicles are too big to fit a stocking over the fireplace, they are nonetheless eye candy for those with an appetite for cars. Plenty to see at the Big Auto Show, which runs until January the 1st at the Indiana Convention Center right here in downtown Indianapolis. Tickets are $7 for adults. Kids 12 and under, they're free.
The road feels like home now. I'm talking every road I roll down. My brakes gave out at the wheel, so there ain't no way to slow down.
The Pacers preparing for a big weekend on the road, as in back-to-back games away from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Tonight they'll play in Miami. Tomorrow they'll be in the Big Easy, New Orleans. The Heat are currently in second place in the East, but the Pacers are only a game and a half behind them. You can catch the Pacers back at home on New Year's Eve, a big game that night against Philadelphia.
That music would be great for your convertible. for this afternoon when you take us on a ride, Todd and I, down to, I don't know, maybe Brown County or Brownsburg.
Is that what you have waiting for me outside of the station this morning with a big red bow?
I heard the big red bow.
My make-believe convertible.
I got the card. Raphael's responsible for the rest of it. So.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw someone cruising around in a convertible here over the past few days, or maybe later this weekend, Todd.
You know, yesterday it wasn't motorized, but a lot of people walking and biking on the Monon in downtown Indianapolis. I saw that. I took a little stroll myself, and rightfully so. Yesterday we had the sunshine. Temperatures were up in the mid-60s. A little bit different here today as a cold front is currently working its way through the area, and as a result, our temperatures are actually falling this morning as this front goes through. Don't be shocked if you see a few sprinkles, but look at the temperature contrast right now. Still 57 in Bloomington, but only 41 in Greencastle, as well as Crawfordsville and Lafayette. Greencastle's at 47 degrees, but this colder air is going to continue to make its way in our direction over the course of the morning hours. So we have already hit our high temperatures for the day today, and we're just going to hold steady here in the 40s from start to finish throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. So it's not as warm as it was yesterday, but still upper 40s, right around 50 degrees. Not bad for this time of year, considering our normal high temperature is at 36. So this front doesn't have a whole lot of moisture with it. At best, a sprinkle or two, and back off to the west, there's a lot of clouds that we'll continue to contend with throughout the day today, but that is really just about it. So it's Friday evening, kind of a different Friday feel, obviously, with many people off still from Christmas being on a Wednesday this year. But if you do have plans, temperatures will be in the 40s if you're heading out and about. So you'll definitely need to have the jacket handy with skies that'll be partly to mostly cloudy. Fast forward to the weekend. Tomorrow's the better day of the weekend. Both days are going to be mild, but Saturday we'll see rain develop late in the day. So the daytime hours tomorrow will be dry. Plenty of opportunity to get out and about and enjoy that 60-degree temperature. Sunday, the rain is in the morning, but it could come down quite heavy. So let me fast forward through TrueCast for you. On Saturday, 3 o'clock, just lots of clouds around, still dry. A few spotty showers possible late Saturday evening, but it's really overnight that we'll start to see the bulk of this precipitation start to make its way here into central Indiana. So it's overnight Saturday into Sunday that we see this rain come in, and it could be pretty heavy at times throughout the overnight hours. And don't be shocked if you have a rumble of thunder, and then most of this rain should be out of here by midday on Sunday, but we're talking potentially about 1 to 2 inches of total rainfall across the area, which could lead to some minor flooding across the area as well, because the ground is completely saturated from the snow melt. Then as we get into next week and we round out the year, partly cloudy New Year's Eve, 37 degrees New Year's Day, mostly sunny with a high of 43.
All right, Todd, thank you. Well, speaking of hitting the road,
wow,
here's everyone that has been apparently sleeping in and relaxing for the past week. Everyone is out on the road here at 6:52. This is a live look at I-65 at Washington Street. The good news is everyone is being awfully careful, and they are prepared for all this traffic, so there are no issues to report.
Welcome back to work and welcome home. Learning the old adage that it's better to give than to receive. Good News Friday is next, right here on Good Morning Indiana, and we'll have the story of how a special young man learned that lesson.
Hey, Raphael, what are you doing for New Year's Eve?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, well, if you're lucky, you could be spending it with Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band at the Brown County Music Center. Unfortunately, you are not eligible for this giveaway. But if you're a viewer, we have 2 tickets that could be yours right now. Just be the 6th caller right now at the number on your screen, 317-269-1459. You will get these tickets if you are caller number 6. Call now and good luck. We'll be right back.
Maybe the viewer will take me.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Everybody hail!
Live. Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
It is time to wrap up our week with stories that will warm your heart, and we start Good News Friday with a young man learning an important lesson.
The family of Christian Schutten gave the 11-year-old $50, but here's the catch. The 5th grader at Creston Middle School in Indianapolis had to donate the money to people as an act of kindness. He had 5 envelopes, and he got the job done. This young man recently earned a sportsmanship award. He plays football for the Warren Township Football Club. His award is coming up right there. His parents say that they're proud of his abilities on and off the field.
If they want to talk baseball, I can do that. If they want to talk gambling, I can do that too.
Verna Bauer talks to people because she still works every day. Verna has been a food runner at McDonald's in Waukesha, Wisconsin for more than 20 years. Yesterday, Verna turned 90 years old. Her store got her a birthday card with $90 in $1 bills because they know she likes to hit the casinos.
Good for her.
Happy birthday, Verna.
Happy birthday. And in Seymour, Jackson County EMTs made special calls to tend to the heart. Shane Collier and other emergency medical technicians spent Sunday delivering 31 stockings filled with goodies for residents of 4 senior living communities there in Seymour.
The stockings were received with hugs, smiles, kisses on the cheek, and laughter. It was a great moment for the EMTs and residents, and it looks like a new tradition is born in Seymour. And Raphael, we were just saying so often folks that are living in facilities like that either don't have family nearby or they might not have family they can celebrate with. So I'm sure that made them all feel very, very good.
Great job to those EMTs in Seymour. Todd?
A pretty quiet day of weather for us. Lots of clouds. Temperatures pretty steady, hovering right around 50 throughout much of the day.
We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning.